Imagine you are watching a crime story. The detective sits in a dark room, looking at the evidence on the table. There are photos, fingerprints, notes, and hidden clues. At first, none of it makes sense. But then, one piece falls into place, and the whole mystery is solved. Female psychology works the same way. Most men look at women, listen to their words, and believe the surface story. But there are hidden clues everywhere. Once a man learns to read them, the mystery of women disappears. And when the mystery disappears, women lose their biggest weapon. Today, I will take you through the first part of this case file. Think of it as opening a secret drawer, one that very few men have seen. Inside are truths that change everything. This is why the title says, "Once men know this, women are finished." It is not about hating women. It is about ending the games, ending the tricks, and ending the lies that confuse men every day. Clue number 1. Women use words like smoke. A detective knows that smoke means fire, but the smoke can be blown in many directions to hide where the fire truly is. In relationships, women often speak in ways that hide their true feelings. She may say she is fine when she is not. She may say she loves you, but she acts cold. She may say she wants space, but what she really wants is attention. If you take her words literally, you will always be lost. Female psychology shows us that her actions tell the real story, not her words. Once a man sees this, he is no longer fooled by smoke. He looks for the fire. There was once a man who believed everything his girlfriend said. She told him she was just friends with a man from work. He trusted her words, but her actions told another story. She started dressing differently, coming home late, and hiding her phone. He ignored these clues until the truth exploded. She was cheating. The smoke of her words blinded him. The fire of her actions burned him. That is the first truth men must learn. Clue number 2. Women test men the way criminals test the law. In crime, a thief will try a small crime first to see if the police notice. If no one reacts, he goes bigger. In psychology, women do the same. She may disrespect you slightly. She may push a small boundary. She may lie about something small. If you ignore it, she learns she can go further. Soon she is running the whole game. Once a man knows this, he understands that every small test is important. You don't wait until the big betrayal. You stop the small crimes before they grow. I once read a story of a man who let his girlfriend talk down to him in public. He laughed it off. He told himself, it's no big deal. But over time, her disrespect grew. She stopped listening to him. She started controlling his decisions. Finally, she walked all over him and then left him for another man. The first crime was small, but because he did not act, it grew. That is female psychology in action. Tests are never just tests. They are trials to see if you are strong or weak. Clue number 3. Women are driven by emotions, not logic. In a true crime case, detectives know that emotions often cause the crime. Jealousy, anger, greed, passion. These drive people to do things they later regret. Women are no different. A man who looks only at logic will always be surprised by her sudden moves. She may leave a good man for someone worse. She may create drama out of nowhere. She may destroy something she once valued. If you expect her to act like a man, you will be shocked. Female psychology shows us that her emotions are the real driver, not reason. Once you know this, you no longer beg her to be logical. You simply accept her nature and plan around it. There was a case where a woman left her husband, even though he gave her everything. He worked hard, provided for her, never cheated, never hurt her. But she grew bored. She wanted excitement. She met a man who gave her drama, passion, and chaos. She left her stable life for him and later regretted it. The husband was confused. He asked, "Why?" "I did everything right." The answer was emotion. Female psychology explains that women often choose feelings over stability. Once men accept this, they stop asking why and start protecting themselves. Clue number 4. Women follow power the way investigators follow money. In every crime story, detectives say, follow the money and you'll find the truth. In relationships, it is follow the power. Women are drawn to strength, status, and confidence. If a man loses his power, she loses her attraction. This is not evil. It is nature. A man who knows this never gives up his power for love. He stays strong, he stays focused, and he keeps leading. There was once a man who quit his dreams for a woman. He gave up his goals, his friends, his hobbies, just to make her happy. At first, she liked the attention, but soon she lost respect. She started talking down to him. She started comparing him to other men. Finally, she left him for someone who still had drive. He thought giving up power would win her heart. But in female psychology, power is the heart. Once you give it away, the game is over. Clue number 5. Women fear being alone more than anything. In a true crime case, fear of prison makes criminals confess. In relationships, the fear of loneliness drives women to act in strange ways. She may stay with a man she doesn't love just so she won't be alone. She may cheat on a man but keep him around, so she has a backup. She may even lie about her feelings to keep someone close. Once men know this, they see through the act. They no longer fall for fake love that is really just fear of loneliness. I knew of a woman who always had a boyfriend. She moved from one man to another with no gap in between. When asked why, she said, "I don't like being alone." The truth was, she didn't love any of them fully. She just needed someone to fill the silence. Female psychology reveals that many women are terrified of being left without options. Once men understand this, they stop confusing attention with love. These are the first 5 clues in our case file. Each one shows you how women think, how they act, and how they use psychology without even knowing it. Once a man knows these clues, he is no longer blind. He becomes like the detective who sees the truth behind the lies. And when that happens, women lose the advantage, because their biggest strength was always mystery. When the mystery is gone, the game is finished. But this is only part 1. There are more clues, deeper truths, and darker secrets in female psychology. The next part will open another drawer in this secret case file. And what you learn there will make everything even clearer. In part 1, we opened the first drawer of the case file. We saw how women use smoke in their words, how they test men like criminals test the law, how emotions drive their actions, how power decides attraction, and how fear of loneliness keeps them holding on. But the file is not closed. There are more pages, more evidence, and more hidden truths. Once you see them, female psychology becomes clear. And when it is clear, the mystery is gone. Clue number 6. Women hide their past like criminals hide records. In every crime story, the suspect always says, "I've done nothing wrong." But when detectives dig deeper, they find old files, hidden charges, sealed records. In relationships, women often hide parts of their past. She may not tell you how many men she has been with. She may not reveal how wild her younger days were. She may change the story depending on what she thinks you can handle. This is not always out of malice. Sometimes it is out of shame, fear of judgment, or the desire to look pure. But the truth is there. And if you ignore the signs, you are left with only half the picture. I once heard of a man who married a woman thinking she had only been with 1 or 2 men. Years later, he found out through old friends and social media that her past was very different. He felt betrayed, not because of the number, but because of the lies. Female psychology shows us that many women believe hiding the past is safer than telling it. Once men know this, they stop believing words blindly. They learn to watch patterns, ask the right questions, and accept nothing less than truth. Clue number 7. Women are masters of timing. In crime, timing is everything. A thief waits until the guard looks away. A liar waits until the right moment to tell half a story. In relationships, women often use timing to their advantage. She may wait to bring up a serious issue, until you are tired. She may confess something when emotions are high, so logic disappears. She may choose the exact moment when you are weakest to push her will. Once you see this, you realize that words are not only about what is said, but also when it is said. Think of a man who worked all day, exhausted when he came home. That is when his girlfriend asked him for big favors, money, trips, sacrifices. In his weak state, he said yes. Later, he regretted it. She knew the timing. Female psychology reveals that timing is a silent weapon. Once men learn this, they stop making decisions in weakness. They tell themselves, not now. I will think and answer later. That single move changes everything. Clue number 8. Women compete with other women in secret wars. In crime, you often find rival gangs fighting for territory. They smile in public, but in the shadows, they plot and strike. Women also play this game, though quietly. She may dress a certain way, not just for men, but to outshine other women. She may post photos online, not to attract strangers, but to show other women she is winning. She may even treat you differently when other women are watching, using you as proof of her value. Once you understand this, you realize her moves are not always about you. Sometimes, you are just a piece in her silent war with other women. There was a story of a woman who pressured her boyfriend to buy her expensive gifts. He thought it was love. Later, he realized she only posted the gifts online to make her friends jealous. The gifts were not about him. They were about her battle for status among women. Female psychology reveals that women often measure themselves through competition. Once men know this, they stop wasting resources just to fuel invisible wars. Clue number 9. Women can switch roles fast, like suspects who change their story. In a courtroom, you see it all the time. One minute, the accused cries like a victim. The next minute, they speak strong, like a fighter. In relationships, women also shift roles depending on what benefits them. She can be soft and vulnerable when she wants protection. She can be cold and strong when she wants control. She can be playful and innocent when she wants forgiveness. Once you see this, you stop getting confused by the changes. You understand that these roles are strategies, not accidents. I remember a case where a woman screamed in anger during a fight, saying she would leave. Minutes later, she cried like a helpless child, saying she could not live without her man. The man was confused, but the pattern was clear. Female psychology explains that these shifts are emotional tactics, not random moods. Once men know this, they stop reacting to every swing. They stay calm, steady, and unshaken. Clue number 10. Women often want control without responsibility. In crime, you see leaders who command from the shadows. They tell others what to do, but never take the blame. In relationships, women sometimes act the same. She may push you to make a choice, but if it goes wrong, she blames you. She may want influence over your direction, but she will not carry the weight if it fails. This is why men must lead with strength. Because if you hand her the wheel, but she refuses responsibility, the car will crash, and she will still point at you. There was once a man who let his girlfriend control where they lived, what job he took, and even which friends he kept. When his life fell apart, she left him. She blamed him for being weak, even though she had steered his every move. Female psychology shows us that many women crave leadership but not accountability. Once men know this, they stop handing over control. They listen, consider, but they remain the final decision makers. Clue number 11. Women use silence as a weapon. In interrogations, silence breaks suspects. In relationships, silence can also break men. She may go cold, stop talking, pull away emotionally. This is not always about needing space. Sometimes it is a tactic to make you chase, to make you beg, to make you bend. Once you know this, silence loses its power. You stop chasing. You let the silence stand. And soon it is she who must speak. I recall a man whose girlfriend would shut down during every fight. She would stop speaking for days. He begged, apologized, gave gifts, all just to hear her voice again. She had learned that silence controlled him. Female psychology shows us that silence is not always emptiness. It is often a weapon. Once men know this, they stop feeding the tactic. These clues build on the first part of our case file. The evidence grows clearer. Each story, each truth, shows you how female psychology operates in hidden ways. Like detectives following trails, we uncover the patterns, and each pattern makes women less mysterious, less confusing, and less powerful over men who don't understand. But we are still not finished. The last part of the case file holds the deepest secrets. Once you see them, the picture is complete. And when the picture is complete, the mystery of women ends forever. In part 1 and part 2, we opened drawers full of evidence. We saw smoke and mirrors and words, the tests women throw at men, the grip of emotions, the fear of loneliness, and the hidden battles they fight for status and control. Now, we turn to the final drawer. This is where the darkest secrets live, the clues that most men never see until it is too late. And once you know them, the mystery of women disappears completely. Clue number 12. Women can rewrite history. In every crime case, suspects often twist the timeline. Details change, memories shift, stories get polished. Female psychology works the same way. A woman may present herself as innocent, as loyal, as always wronged by others. She may leave out details or shape her past to look better than it was. Sometimes she does this out of fear of judgment. Other times, it is strategy. I remember a man who asked his girlfriend about her past. She told him she had never cheated and only had 2 serious boyfriends. Later, through an old friend, he learned she had left out entire relationships, flings, and messy breakups. She had rewritten her history to make herself look clean. Female psychology shows that the past is often edited, not erased. Once men know this, they stop trusting words alone. They learn to read patterns, behavior, and consistency over time. Clue number 13. Women create drama to reset control. In crime, chaos distracts from the truth. Fires are set, scenes are staged, alibis are planted. In relationships, drama works the same way. A sudden fight, tears over small things, or emotional explosions. These are not always random. Sometimes they are designed to put you on the defensive. When you are busy calming her down, she regains control. I once knew a man who said every weekend with his girlfriend ended in drama. Just when things were calm, she would pick a fight. At first, he thought it was mood swings. Later, he realized the pattern. After each fight, he ended up giving more, apologizing more, proving his love more. The drama was a reset button. Female psychology shows us that drama often hides in tension. Once men know this, they stop rewarding the storm. They let silence and distance calm the waves instead of losing themselves in the chaos. Clue number 14. Women use appearance as a disguise. In crime, a suspect may change clothes, wear a wig, or alter their look to mislead. Women instinctively understand the power of appearance. Makeup, clothes, body language, these can all change the story. She may dress in a way that looks innocent around family, but seductive in private. She may use beauty to soften your anger or to gain sympathy. Appearance is not just attraction, it is a mask. I recall a man who was ready to end a toxic relationship. He had his speech prepared. But when she walked in, dressed in the very outfit he loved, his anger collapsed. He stayed, and months later, regretted it. Female psychology shows us that beauty in disguise can disarm logic. Once men know this, they admire beauty, but they never let it control their judgment. Clue number 15. Women play the victim to shift blame. In a courtroom, tears and weakness often win sympathy. A guilty person may act helpless to escape punishment. In relationships, women can use the same tactic. She may cry when caught lying. She may say, "I only did it because of you." She may turn her mistake into your guilt. If you fall into this trap, you carry the blame while she walks free. I once read of a woman who cheated on her boyfriend. When confronted, she cried and said, "I felt neglected. If you had loved me more, I wouldn't have done it." Shockingly, he apologized to her. Female psychology reveals that victimhood can be a strategy. Once men know this, they stop carrying guilt that doesn't belong to them. Clue number 16. Women are influenced by their crowd. In crime, mobs move as one. One act spreads quickly to the rest. In relationships, women are deeply shaped by the voices around them. Her friends, her family, her social media circle, all can steer her decisions. Sometimes, she leaves a good man not because of problems, but because others whispered she could do better. A man once told me how his girlfriend loved him deeply, until her friends started saying he wasn't successful enough. Slowly, she grew distant, and finally, she left. Female psychology explains that many women are social mirrors. Once men know this, they stop being shocked when outside voices change her heart. They understand it as part of the game. Clue number 17. Women use love as leverage. In interrogation rooms, leverage makes suspects break. In relationships, love is often the tool. If you loved me, you'd do this. If you cared, you'd change. Affection becomes a bargaining chip. If you give in, you lose strength. I recall a man whose girlfriend always used the line, "If you love me, you'll prove it." Over time, he gave her money he couldn't afford, changed jobs he didn't want to leave, and abandoned friends he valued. In the end, she left anyway. Female psychology shows us that love can be turned into chains. Once men know this, they stop bending every time affection is threatened. Clue number 18. Women respect strength, but exploit weakness. In crime, strong figures are feared, while weak ones are used. Women admire strength. But the moment they see insecurity, doubt, or desperation, they may test it. If you are jealous, she may provoke it more. If you are needy, she may use it to control you. Female psychology teaches us that weakness is bait. Once men know this, they stop exposing soft spots. One man admitted he was always insecure about other men. His girlfriend learned this quickly. She started flirting in front of him just to make him chase. His weakness became her power. Only when he learned to remain calm did her games stop. Clue number 19. Women value feelings more than facts. In trials, juries often ignore evidence if the story makes them feel sympathy. In relationships, a woman may leave a stable man for one who excites her, even if he has nothing to offer. She may abandon logic for the thrill of emotion. Female psychology shows us that feelings outweigh facts. Once men know this, they stop begging women to be logical. They focus instead on presence, energy, and calm strength. Clue number 20. Women can leave suddenly, without warning. In crime stories, suspects vanish before trial. One day they're here, the next day gone. Women can do the same. She may build for years, then leave overnight. She may say, "forever today," and disappear tomorrow. Female psychology shows us that emotions shift, and when they shift far enough, she can walk away without looking back. A man once built a home and family with his wife. One morning, she packed her bags and left, saying only, "I don't feel it anymore." He was shattered, not by what she did, but by how suddenly she did it. Once men know this, they stop believing that love guarantees permanence. They enjoy the present, but they build their strength on themselves, not on someone else's feelings. Now the case file is complete. We have 20 clues, 20 pieces of evidence. Each one reveals how female psychology works. Together they remove the mask. Once you see these patterns, you can never unsee them. And once you know, women lose their biggest power, the mystery. But let us be clear. Finished does not mean destroyed. It does not mean hate. It means the illusions no longer work. The smoke no longer blinds. The games no longer trap. For centuries, men have stumbled in the dark, confused by mixed signals, hidden motives, and sudden shifts. But when you open the case file and study the clues, you are no longer blind. A Stoic man sees the truth without anger. He accepts what he cannot control. He observes without being fooled. He stays strong, calm, and steady while others panic. This is the gift of knowledge. And this is why once men know this, all women are finished. Not because they are weak, but because their mystery has ended. The detective closes the folder. The evidence is clear. The case is solved. And from that moment on, he can never be deceived again.